The night was cold. The wind blew across the empty street of the alien city. Buildings stood tall, dark, and silent. Most doors were closed, locked, forgotten. But one small figure sat outside. A metal door. She was just a child, thin, dirty. Her skin was a light blue color, her eyes large and glowing faintly. She wore no shoes. Only a torn piece of cloth covered her body. She didn't cry. She didn't move. She just sat there like she had sat there every night. For the last 38 nights, people walked by sometimes, aliens of many kinds. No one stopped. No one helped. Some looked at her. Most didn't. Some whispered, "She's stupid. That's a human door. They'll kill her." Others laughed, let her freeze. But she didn't care. She was not there for food. She was not there for kindness. She was there because of something she once heard. Humans protect their own, even when it's hard, even when it hurts. She didn't know if that was true, but it was the only hope left in her heart. Every night after the city lights went off, she crawled to that same door and slept there, sometimes hungry, sometimes sick, always alone. The door never opened. Not once, until the 39th night. It was raining. The cold drops hit her face as she tried to stay awake. She was weak. Her small body shook with fever. But she didn't move. Suddenly she heard something, a sound. A click. The door behind her made a soft mechanical noise. She turned her head slowly. Her heart stopped. The metal door was opening. A warm yellow light spilled out from inside. She blinked, her eyes not used to the brightness, and then she saw him. A tall figure stood in the doorway. Human. He had rough clothes, a beard, and tired eyes. He looked at her, but didn't speak. She stared back. She expected shouting. Maybe a weapon. Maybe death. But he only bent down slowly and said, in a soft voice, "How long have you been here?" She didn't answer. He waited a moment, then stood up. "Come inside." The words felt like a dream. Her lips trembled. She wanted to move, but her body was too weak. The man didn't wait. He stepped forward and gently picked her up. She didn't fight. She didn't scream out because, for the first time in her life, someone was holding her like she mattered. The door closed behind them. Warmth, light, silence. He placed her on a soft couch. The room was strange human furniture, soft music, a warm heater on the wall. It smelled like something sweet. She looked around, confused. Everything was clean. Safe. He walked to the kitchen, poured a cup of hot liquid, came back and handed it to her. "Drink this." Slowly, she took the cup with both hands. It was warm. The heat felt like sunlight on her fingers. He sat down across from her, didn't ask questions, didn't touch her again. She sipped. A few drops fell on her chin. She didn't care. The man just watched, quiet, calm. Minutes passed. Maybe hours. Then she spoke. Her voice was dry and broken. "Why did you open the door?" He leaned forward. "Because you were still there." Every night, she blinked. Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't let them fall. "You're not afraid of me?" He smiled a little. "You're just a kid. I'm not afraid of children." She looked down at the cup in her hands. "They say humans are monsters." He sighed. "Some are. But so are some of your people, some of every kind." She looked up. "So, what are you?" He stood up, picked up a small blanket, and placed it over her gently. "I'm the one who opened the door." And then he walked away to let her sleep in peace. Outside, the city was dark and cold. But inside that house, for the first time in 39 nights, she didn't sleep on the ground. She didn't feel alone. She didn't know this man. She didn't know his story. But in that moment, she believed something she had forgotten. There is still good in the galaxy. She held the warm cup close and closed her eyes. And for the first time, She dreamed of a tomorrow. Asterisk. The room was warm now. But in her mind, it was still cold. She remembered the night her mother left her. They were hiding near the old spaceport. Her mother whispered, "Stay here, I'll come back with food." But she never did. The sun rose. The people left, and the girl waited. 1 day, 2 days. A week. "She's not coming back," someone finally told her. The girl never cried. She just walked away. And now, many nights later, she was lying on a soft human couch in a stranger's home. But the memory stayed inside her chest, like a scar that never faded. Present time. The girl slowly opened her eyes. The room was quiet, peaceful. She didn't know when she fell asleep, but her body felt different. Not healed, but not hurting. She was still wrapped in the blanket. The cup from last night was empty. A small pillow was under her head. She sat up quickly. Fear hit her like a wave. Where was the man? She looked around. The house was strange. Metal walls, soft lights, books. Real books, a small music player, paintings of stars. Pictures of people, some alien, some human. It was beautiful. No weapons, no cages, no chains. Just a home. Then she heard a sound. The man was in the kitchen. He looked at her and said gently, "You slept long. That's good." She didn't reply. She was still unsure, still ready to run. He came closer, holding a tray. "I made something. It's food, not poison." She took the plate carefully, smelled it, looked at him. Then took a bite. Her eyes widened. It was warm, soft, sweet. She looked up, surprised. He smiled. "It's called bread, old earth recipe." The questions began. For a while, they sat in silence. Then the girl asked, "Why did you really let me in?" The man took a moment, looked at his hands, then said, "Because I saw someone else there. A long time ago." She tilted her head. "Who?" He didn't answer. Instead, he stood and walked to a shelf. He pulled down a small wooden box. Dusty, old, locked. He placed it in front of her. "If you're going to stay, there are things you should know." She looked at the box. "What's inside?" He unlocked it. Slowly. Inside were small items. A photo of a young human soldier, a medal, a tiny pair of alien baby shoes, a blue crystal. She touched the shoes. They were exactly like hers. Her voice shook. "Is that my kind?" He nodded. "Yes, I served in the outer war. I saved a group of refugees from your planet. One of them was a child." Her hands froze. "What happened to the child?" He looked at her carefully. "She disappeared during evacuation. I never stopped looking." She stared at him. Her heart beat faster. "Do you think I'm that child?" He didn't smile. He didn't cry. He just said, "I don't know. But if you are, then I've waited a long time to keep my promise." "A new name." She looked away. Her voice was low. "I don't have a name," he nodded. "Then you can choose one. Or I can give you one. Would you like that?" She thought for a moment, then said, "What name would you choose?" He looked at the blue crystal inside the box. "Lyra. Like the star." She whispered the name to herself. "Lyra," she smiled, a little dot, and for the first time, she felt like someone real. Cliffhanger. Suddenly, the house lights flickered. The man stood up, walked to the wall, and checked a device. "Motion sensors," he said. "Something's outside." Her heart dropped. "Is it them?" He didn't answer. He looked at her. "If you want to leave, I won't stop you." She stood still, looked at the door, but then she shook her head. "I'm tired of sleeping outside." He nodded. "Then stay, whatever happens. We face it together now." Lyra stood in a strange room. All the walls were made of mirrors, but they didn't show her. Each mirror showed a different version of a little girl, crying, hiding, running, sleeping outside the door. She walked closer to one mirror. The girl inside whispered, "No one is coming." In another, the girl whispered, "You are not wanted." And in one far mirror, the girl smiled, not alone, not cold, just safe. That was the only mirror with light behind it. Lyra touched the glass, and suddenly, she woke up. Morning in the human house sunlight was coming through a small window. She was still on the couch, still under the blanket, but this time, she had slept without fear. She looked to the side. Eli, the human man, was sitting at the table, fixing something. A small device with blinking lights. He looked at her and gave a nod. "You slept peacefully this time." She nodded. "I had a dream." "Good or bad?" She shrugged. "Both." He stood up and said, "Let's make it better." The box of lost things. Eli walked to the shelf again. This time, he brought the box back, the one from last night. He sat beside her and opened it slowly. Inside were the same things. The photo of a young soldier, a medal, baby shoes, a glowing blue crystal, and one new item she hadn't seen, a small pendant, shaped like a star. Lyra stared at it. Her hand reached out, slowly. That belonged to my mother." Eli looked at her, surprised. "You remember it?" She nodded slowly. "She wore it around her neck. Always." Her voice broke a little. "She said it would bring us light in dark places." Eli took a breath. "Then maybe it brought you here." She looked down at the box, her fingers touching each item gently. Then she asked, "Was the girl you saved really like me?" Eli answered, "Yes." She had the same eyes, same fire, same silence. She looked up at him. "You said she disappeared?" Eli nodded. "Evacuation went bad. Her pod never arrived at the checkpoint. Everyone thought she was lost." He paused. "But I kept the box, just in case." A strange test. Eli stood up and walked to the shelf again. He brought back a small scanner, an old model. "Do you want to know the truth?" She hesitated. "About what? If you were the one I lost." She nodded slowly. Eli brought the scanner near her hand. "Just a scan. It'll check the DNA from the pendant. I kept a trace." Beep, beep. The scanner blinked blue. Match, 99.87%. Eli sat back. He looked shocked, but calm. "It's you." Lyra didn't move. "I don't remember much. I forgot everything." "That's okay," Eli said. "But I didn't forget you. You waited this long?" "Every night I left the porch light on." "For me?" "Yes, in case you ever found your way home." Tears welled up in her eyes, but still didn't fall. Instead, she asked, "Can I keep the pendant?" "It's yours," Eli said. "It always was." The signal. Suddenly, a soft alarm beeped from the wall. Eli rushed to the panel. "Someone's nearby again," he muttered. "Same signature as last night." Lyra stood. "They're watching?" "Maybe more than watching," Eli said. He pressed a button. A hologram showed a blurred alien figure outside, staying in the shadows. "They're tracking your location," he said. Then, "I should go," Lyra whispered. "Before they hurt you." Eli turned. "You're not leaving. Not unless you want to. I lost you once already." "But what if they break in?" Eli walked to a locker, opened it. Inside were weapons. Small, but strong. "Let them try." Ending, a spark of courage. Lyra walked to the window. She saw the same street. Where she once lay outside, alone, now she was inside. Wanted. She held the pendant tight in her hand. "Maybe I'm not just a lost child anymore." Eli looked at her. "You're not. You're someone worth protecting, worth fighting for." She smiled just a little. "Then let's protect this house." The screen flickered. A video file had auto-started on Eli's old terminal. It wasn't supposed to. File name, Project Silence, Level 9. Encrypted, unknown origin. Lyra stood behind him, watching. The video opened with the image of a familiar woman. Her face blue skin, same eyes as Lyra's but older. Stronger, in uniform. She was speaking in a rush, looking over her shoulder. If anyone finds this, I had no choice. The council. They're hiding it. Our children, they're not being protected. They're being used. Lyra froze. That's my mother, she whispered. Eli said nothing. He just watched the woman's voice cracked. We thought humans were the monsters. But it's us. What we did to the hybrids. To the children born during the war. She stopped speaking. A sound in the background. She looked into the camera one last time. Forgive. Emmy Lyra. Then the screen went black. The truth hurt. Silence filled the room. Lyra dropped to her knees. Her hands were shaking. She didn't leave me to die. She left to protect me. Eli knelt beside her. She was trying to stop them. The council, they erased this. They made her the enemy. They do that to people who speak the truth. Lyra looked up at him, eyes burning. And to children who are the truth. Flashback, the burned city. Lyra remembered the evacuation. The sky red with fire, sirens, screaming, children lined up, crying, being tagged, scanned, chosen. She wasn't chosen. One guard whispered, she's half human. Skip her. That's when her mother pushed her into a crate and said, hide. No matter what happens, stay silent. Then everything burned, and silence became her only friend. Present, the house under watch. Eli closed the file and powered off the terminal. If they know who you are now, they won't stop coming. Lyra nodded. Not just for me. For what I carry. Eli asked gently. What do you mean? Lyra stood and walked to the box again. She took out the blue crystal dot. It pulsed softly. This was never just decoration, it's alive. Eli's eyes narrowed. Tech? Biotech, she replied. It reads DNA, stores data. Maybe even memories. Yours, mine, and others like me. All the hidden children. Eli looked at her with wonder. You're not just a survivor, you're a record. I'm a threat to people in power. Outside, they are watching. That night, Lyra stood near the window. The street was quiet. Too quiet. Eli stood beside her, holding a small weapon now, calm, ready. They won't attack tonight, he said. Not until they're sure we know too much. Lyra's voice was steady. They're right to be afraid. Why? Because I'm done hiding. Cliffhanger, incoming. The terminal beeped again. This time, it wasn't a hidden file. It was a signal. Not from the council. Not from the aliens, but from orbit. Incoming message. Human military ship. Alcyon. Refuge confirmed. Stand by for extraction. Target, Lyra. Eli looked at her. They found you, she whispered. No, I called them. He stared. You sent a signal? Yes, before the scan, I told them. I'm ready. Lyra stood in a vast black space. No sky. No floor. Just stars floating like dust. The blue crystal hovered in front of her, glowing. Then, it cracked open. Light poured out, and with it, voices. Hundreds. Thousands. Children crying. Mothers whispering. Fathers screaming. Words in different alien languages. But one message felt clear. They erased us. They called us errors. We are still here. The space around Lyra lit up. Faces appeared, young and old, all different. Alien, human. Hybrids. One small boy looked right at her. You're the last one who can speak. Then, everything vanished. Back in reality, human ship arrival. Lyra opened her eyes, gasping for breath. The crystal pulsed in her hand, now warm, almost alive. Eli stood beside her, watching the human ship descend in the sky. Sleek, silver, and heavy with weapons. The front hatch opened. 3 soldiers stepped out, scanning the area. One woman spoke, calm but direct. Designation? Lyra? Lyra nodded. Come with us. We're taking you to safety. She looked at Eli, then at the crystal. Is safety enough? Eli frowned. What do you mean? The children inside this crystal, they're not safe. They're trapped. Trapped? Each memory, each life, frozen inside like ghosts. She held the crystal tightly. I want to unlock it. The risk of truth inside the ship, the soldiers took Lyra and Eli to a secure room. A scientist greeted them. Human. Calm. Older. He looked at the crystal and said, "We knew you were special, but not this special." Lyra replied, "What happens if I open it? It depends." On what? If the truth it holds is louder than the people who want to silence it. He explained, the council didn't just abandon hybrid children. They experimented on them, rejected the ones that carried human DNA, buried everything. "This crystal is proof," Eli asked. "Can it be copied?" "No, it's coded to her DNA." Everyone turned to Lyra. "Only you can decide." Lyra's choice. She stood there, hands shaking, one button. One breath. That's all it would take. She thought about the street she used to sleep on. The cold. The silence. The pain. And then she thought about the others. The ones who never made it to a door. The ones who died waiting for someone to say, "Come inside," forever. She looked at the human scientist. "If I open this, what happens to me?" "We don't know," he said gently. "Maybe nothing, maybe everything." Eli spoke. "You don't have to do this." She turned to him. "I already did." She pressed the core of the crystal. Crystal activates. Data flood. The room filled with blue light. Walls lit up with moving holograms, children's names, images, medical logs, government orders, video clips, voices played. Testimonies. Confessions. Even the council leader's own voice. "The hybrids are unstable. We cannot let them survive." A soldier stepped back. This is war material. "If this leaks," Lyra interrupted, "it will leak. I'll make sure of it." The signal goes out. The human scientist activated a secure broadcast line. "Sending it now, full file." Eli looked at Lyra. "You just changed the galaxy." She looked exhausted but calm. "Good. Now maybe no other child will sleep in the dirt." Cliffhanger. The message received. Cut to a distant alien planet. A young hybrid child, scared and hiding in a refugee zone. Here's the emergency broadcast. She listens to Lyra's voice say, "To every child they tried to erase, you exist. You matter, and you are not alone." The child smiles for the first time. Back on the ship, a quiet alarm sounds. The human soldier turns. Council ships incoming. Not 1, 23. Eli loads his weapon. "They're scared." Lyra steps forward. "They should be." Asterisk. The stars were quiet tonight. Somewhere, in a small room lit by a soft lamp, a woman's voice whispered, "Once there was a girl who slept outside every night. Not because she liked the stars, but because no one wanted her inside." Child's voice asked, "What happened to her?" The woman smiled. "Someone opened the door, and everything changed." Flashback. The final stand, years earlier. Back on the edge of the broken world, Lyra stood at the front of the human ship, staring into the sky. Council warships filled the clouds, 23, in full formation. She had exposed their crimes. Now they came to erase the proof. Again. "They want you," Eli said quietly. "Still, no," Lyra replied. "They want silence." She stepped forward, her voice clear. "Then let's give them the loudest noise they've ever heard." The battle begins. Council ships opened fire, but this time, human ships answered. Lyra's broadcast had changed everything. Alien rebels joined in. Outcast hybrids took up arms. Some council soldiers refused to fight. The galaxy had heard the truth, and truth is hard to kill. Lyra wasn't just a symbol anymore. She was a spark, and the fire had started. Eli's final act during the battle. A council drone locked onto Lyra. Eli saw it before she did. He pushed her aside, took the blast. Smoke. Fire. Silence. Lyra ran to him. "Why?" she cried. He smiled weakly. I said I'd protect you. Forever. She held his hand until it went still. The man who opened the door was gone, but he had made sure it stayed open. The war ends. The council fell within weeks. Footage from the crystal spread to every colony. Thousands of hidden hybrids were found. Saved. Some joined the new government. Some went home. And some had no home to return to. So Lyra built one. Years later, the new home now. The woman reading the story sits in a quiet house on a new world. Green skies, silver trees, laughter outside. She is older now, stronger. Her eyes still glow blue. The child in her lap is not human. Not fully, but neither was she. Was the girl ever scared again? The child asks. Lyra smiles. Yes, but she was never alone again. Suddenly, knock knock. Someone is at the door. Full circle. Another doorstep. She opens it slowly. A small child stands outside. Dirty. Cold. Alien. Scared. Silent. Just like Lyra once was. She kneels down gently. How long have you been waiting? She asks. The child doesn't answer. Lyra takes off her cloak and wraps it around the child's shoulders. You're safe now. Why? The child asks. She smiles with tears in her eyes. Because someone once did the same for me. She holds out her hand. Come inside forever. The child takes it, and the door closes behind them, with warm light pouring through the cracks. Ending line, voiceover style. This isn't the end of the story. This is just the end of hiding. The start of truth. The start of forever.